Welcome back to another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show, Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. I'm your host, Damon K. Jones, joined by my brother, A.J. Woodson, and bringing that fresh perspective, Larnaz Kinsey. Every Sunday, we pull back the curtain on the issues shaping our families, our cities, and our future, from health and safety to policy and power. It's because our mission is simple. Put the people first, not the politics. It's going to be Blacktastic. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Got a sweet tooth? Come to Cupcake Cutie Boutique in Mount Vernon, where every day is a reason to celebrate. Fresh homemade cupcakes baked with love. Stop by 8 South 6th Avenue and taste the cuteness today.
Oh. Hey, what's happening? Thought another commercial was coming up. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to Black Westchester Magazine Sunday Rundown.
Welcome back, Westchester.
That's right.
Welcome back.
Myself, Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnaz Kinsey, and A.J. is out and about, and we're here rocking it out. And thanks for everybody that's watching. And please like and share and support. And we're just trying to give you the news with the Black point of view and give you our views on things. It's always something to talk about, and we try to talk outside of the usual sphere of left or right or all that BS. It's just, how do we benefit from a lot of this stuff? Or how do we don't benefit from it, right? So what's up, Larnaz? What's going on?
Nothing. I'm just enjoying this Women's History Month. All the events I've been going to.
Oh, yeah, Women's History Month. Yeah, listen, Black women doing their thing. Black women doing their thing. I was at, big shout out to the Westchester Rockland Guardians. They had a beautiful dance last night. Great dance, and they awarded, they recognized some great women, Black women in law enforcement, and I saw my sister. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. Philadelphia Sheriff Rochelle Bilal, but she's still my sister. I love her to death. Gave her a big kiss. She looked at me like, Negro, I saw what you said. I had to disagree with her on something. And but I love her. And it was good to see a lot of young Black officers. It's very good to see a lot of young Black officers. I just hope we go beyond the party, right? We have to go beyond the party and literally and do the work. And that's what I talk about. Shameless plug. I talk about in my book, tolerance is for cowards, right? We can't be tolerant of an institution that abuse people just because we're afraid to get promoted, or we're afraid that we won't get overtime, or we're afraid that we would be called anti-police, and racist. They like to say racist. Now, these are the things I was called in my 33 years at Department of Correction. I'm a racist, and anti-police. You know, I used to tell people, how am I anti-police and I'm married to a cop? Somebody explain that one. You know, so I mean, we really have to be diligent in representing ourselves, no matter what profession, right? You know, whether you first Black female judge, first Black female police captain, because two were made in Mount Vernon at the same time. They gave you the double whammy. Big shout out to Captain Terry and what McKinney. Damn, I know about her first name. I forgot her. And Captain McKinney. I know she going, and they're having a party tonight where I was supposed to be at. But I don't feel like driving back down. I don't feel like driving back down and make sure we see how dedicated Black folks. I'm dedicated. I said we got to have the show. We got to keep the show going on because we got to give y'all the news with the Black point of view. What events you went to, Larnaz?
So I went to a Earn Your Leisure event that they had in Greenberg.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. I also went to a Her Story event. They had some phenomenal women on the panel just talking about the strides that they made, how important it was when they were coming up in the 80s and they didn't see nobody that looked like them but knew that they were training all the people for the position. It was amazing. And then I closed it off with an amazing financial literacy program just for women that really showed you the value of yourself.
Wow. Okay.
But of course, y'all gonna see the articles coming out. Y'all, of course. Monday they will be published.
Absolutely. No, man, like I remember when I got the job at corrections, Yvonne Powell, she was the first Black female warden in Westchester County Department of Corrections. Beautiful woman, beautiful family. I ended up living across the street from them with my first wife. We bought a house in Greenberg, and I had the blessing to live across the street from her afterwards. And after she retired, so we had you have different conversations when you're retired than you have when she's actually your boss.
That's absolutely true, because my chief is retired. Well, the chief who hired me is retired. And I think I speak to him more now than when he was inside. Like he referred clients to me. I was like, what? He done said, "Oh, I saw that article. That article was good." I was like, what? You would never say that inside to me. So I'm grateful for the people that we meet inside, and we can kind of build that relationship for it to grow on the outside. It really tells you that, okay, these is one of my people. I'm gonna show up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, she was old school. And I was blessed when she passed, and I wrote an article which they actually read at the Greenberg Town Hall in respect to, because she was from Greenberg, so she was Greenberg. She was well respected in Greenberg, and I had the blessing that they asked me to read what I wrote, and they put it in the city minutes. So that was a beautiful thing. But when I started, like, no dude trained me. When I started corrections, it was a mistake. They got me mixed up between a Dana Jones. So it was Dana Jones and Damon Jones, right? So they sent me to a female unit by mistake.
Mm.
right? And then at that time, we couldn't work in the housing area. They didn't pass the law yet. We could work outside, but they wouldn't allow us to work inside. So, my first, I'm gonna say 6 years was in the female unit. And I was trained, and I was trained by women to do the job. Then I went over to the jail because, I'm young. I wanted to fight, stuff like that, man. I'm not hitting no woman.
First of all, the women is worse than the men. What you mean?
Well, no. Let me tell you. Hey, listen, I was 190 pounds, sexy. I had the fade, with the S curl in it to make it nice and soft, it was
you had a
shiny.
soul glow on the collar?
No, I ain't have a soul glow. I had fade, and I just softened it up so it wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? I have no soul glow. I just softened it up a little bit, So I was in there, and I was like, okay, Mr. Jones, I had that type of effect on him. I had that type of effect.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, I'd be like, hey, sister, what's going on? Plus, I was in the Nation of Islam at that time. So it was like, hey, sister.
So it's different. It's different.
Right. So I walked up in there, with a different attitude. So, it was interesting. No, it wasn't no S curl, man. No, wait a minute. No, it was an S curl.
I'm visualizing the soul glow, but I'm visualizing it on your collar.
Nah. No, because you know what I did to make it natural, put it in the hair, but I always had to fade, but I kept it short so it wouldn't be crazy. I just wanted to be a little softer and nice and shiny when I walked through the light. Shit would be glowing,
So they could go, he must have Indian in his family.
Which I do, right? Which I do, but a little more than Indian, a little more than that. But I worked with the women first. Then I went over to the men because we couldn't touch them. For a while, we couldn't even touch them. So it was Warren Burwell. Let me tell a story. This is a funny story. Warren Burwell was one of my mentors on the job, and they had moved Warren Burwell in the female unit. So, you walk by his office, and I don't know how he used to do this. Maybe he just heard, he knew. You walk by his office, and his door was open. He knew who was what, and he couldn't see, right? Because you couldn't see him because the way his office was. But you walk by his office, he'd be like, DK Jones, that you? I'm like, dude, how does this dude know? I was like, how does this dude know it's me? So we were complaining, the men, because we was in the female unit, they wouldn't allow us to restrain them. They wouldn't allow us to do none of that for a bit. Then after a while, they took the reins off, and it was like, y'all guys can, handle them the way y'all need to handle them, right? So guys were complaining, that they wasn't, they didn't put no cuffs on nobody. They ain't do anything, right? So they was like, yo, man, you be talking to Warren Burwell all the time. Why don't you go in there? We need some extra training, right? So I went over in there, right? He said, that's a good idea. Brother Jones, go get the list. And we'll send y'all over to the jail. Now I come back to the same guy complaining. I'm like, yo, man, he gonna send us over to jail. Dude's like, we didn't know he was gonna send us over to the jail. I'm like, yo, man, we go. Yo, they did me dirty. Lonez. Yo, for 2 weeks, I'm avoiding this dude, right? I'm avoiding him because now I ain't got no list because these dudes done punked out. I'm avoiding it. Finally, he called. I'm trying to tiptoe past his office. Brother Jones, come in here. He was like, so where's the list? Did nobody want to sign up? It's okay. We just send you. Sent me over to the jail. And they switched me with another officer that was getting into some heat, right? He was under the heat. Now, at that time, jail was crazy racist. Without a doubt, it was the blacks, it was the whites, fighting parking lots. It was insane. It was like, back then, it was really insane. So I get over there, and they said it's going to be for like 2 months, 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months go by. Now, I used to come in and sign in. They used to have the officer's name that switched over in ink and my name in pencil, right? So I'm like, cool, because I'm temporary, right? So in the middle of stuff, Burwell called me. He said, yo, man, how you doing? Now, the only place they had me in that whole time is the semi-forensic and the minor block. Dude, that was insane, right? But I'm doing the work, right? I'm doing the work. He calls me. He said, did you go to transportation? I'm like, no. Did you work post one? I'm like, no. Did you do this? Did you work in booking? I'm like, dude, no. I ain't even got 5 years on the job. Like, they ain't gonna let me in booking. He said, all right. You know what? We're gonna give you some more training, give you another 3 months. Now I'm there 6 months. So I come in there and I see my name is in ink and his name is gone. Right? I couldn't wait to get to a phone. The debriefing, it's 9 o'clock. Yo, 9 o'clock. I'm waiting because I know he come in at 9 o'clock. I called, I said, yo, Warren Burwell, what's up, man? He said, oh, DK Jones, what's going on, man? How you doing? I said, did y'all transfer me over here? And he was like, no, why? I said, because they done took homeboy's name out and they got my name in there permanent, right? He said, let me call you back. Let me call you back. So he called me back, right? He's laughing. So he's like, nah. He was like, they tried to keep you. I was a better, because the dude that they left, I was a better officer, like straight music. So he said, yo, they tried to keep you, right? Hey, what's up, my brother? What's up, my brother from Ghana? What's happening? Yeah, they tried to keep me, but he said next week when you come back on your Monday, come back to the female unit. And when I got back, he pulled me in the office. He said, yo, you know why I sent you? He said, number one, because I think you're a good officer. You learned a lot, but you learned how the department is, right? And he said, you don't know how good you have it being over here. So he taught me a lesson. And yeah.
If it's not written down before you say something, don't say nothing.
Exactly. But I came back over feeling like a champ, right? Because the other dudes were just standing there. I was like, yo, I did it. Y'all and then they all became supervisors. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? They all became supervisors. But it is what it is what it is. It is what it is. We need to cherish our leaders. Burwell was a great leader in correction. Women's History Month. Who else was in my Captain Merritt, Officer Howard, Officer Jones. Good evening. Officer, like old school. I'm just talking old school. Like, these are the women that paved the way, for us. And also we can't forget like the women who paved the way for even women to be police officers. Or in law enforcement. Like the first Black woman that was a police officer in Westchester was from Yonkers. She used to come in and my mother, either my mother or my aunt used to do her hair. And that's how I realized, because, I'm coming in with the uniform and I knew, she knew something just about she talked to me, and my mother was like, nah, she used to say, I'm retired from Yonkers. I was like, really? Right? But she never said that she was the first Black female cop, not just in Westchester, but Maria George's mom. Yep. And she you know, she was beautiful, man. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Like we had a lot of firsts. We had a lot of firsts. There's a lot of firsts, you know, in Westchester. But you know, after all this time, like it's crazy that we are still, you know, dealing with first.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, in 2026, we still are dealing with first. And I don't know. I'm not feeling that right there. What do you think, Lon? What up, brother AJ? What's happening, man?
What's good? Yo, just finishing my brisk walk. When Damon said he wasn't sure if he was doing the show, like, yo, it's a good time to get my walk in. So I was almost 2 miles, not quite 2 miles, but I'm feeling it, especially on these hills. As far as first, yeah, I agree with you on the first. When you got places like Elmsford just getting their first Black female cop, period, last year. And I think Rye got their first elected maybe council person or something this year. Like Rye has been in existence, one of the oldest municipalities in Westchester from the 1600s, and they've never had a black elected official,
right,
a black council person.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
as much as they're still first, there's still a whole lot of places that for first to be first. Like, that's a shame.
But it's not a shame. But it's not a shame because we always looking to be the first in something. All of us, as humans. Period.
Yeah.
She said, comment was, we still don't have a first Black female president. I think we're gonna have it in time. I think it's more of the policies, you know, than, you know, I really think it's more of the policies. You know, they have to stand on some better policies. Like, you know, Hillary Clinton could have won, but a lot of people were Clintoned out. And the fact that people rebelled because with Hillary, she thought it was her right. And a lot of people was behind Bernie. You know, a lot of people was behind Bernie. And
I was.
Yeah, a lot of people was behind Bernie. And I also think even with Kamala, you know, what hurt her is that she didn't have a primary. One of the biggest things, and you know, and then the policies, some of the Democratic policies.
And they didn't make a decision with Biden to like 50 days before. Like she had like 50 days, like you can't do a campaign in 50. Like had Biden put his support behind her for the beginning, and then she won the primary, she would have had a whole bunch more momentum going in. And then, you know, all the pro-Biden people would have been behind her, and she would have had a lot. I mean, she did good for the time she had, but there wasn't enough time. And you know, there's still some people not ready for a female president, much less a Black female president. There's still people in this country not ready for that. So
well I don't think, look, she got more votes than Biden. Right. So the whole thing is it's not color, it's policy. It is policy. She got more votes than Biden got against Trump. It's policy. We could say all that racist stuff we want to, but at the end of the day, the numbers don't show that.
So both things are true. Let's not pretend that there's. Yeah, I'm not saying everyone who didn't vote for her was racist or sexist. But let's be honest that there are people who are racist and sexist who didn't vote for her.
I never said that.
So both things are true. What you're saying is absolutely true. But there was a certain population that is not ready for a female, or especially a Black female.
There's always racism. Look, it was a guy that was talking about when he was campaigning for Barack Obama, and he knocked on the door of a old white couple. He asked, and he was doing a survey. He asked the wife. It was on one of the news shows. he asked the wife, who are you voting for? And she said, I don't know. Let me ask my husband. And the husband responded, the N-word. We are going to vote for the right? So yeah, there are races out there, but you know, I mean, you got to look at we have to start looking at policy. You got to move.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Both things, but I'm just saying both things are true. But I agree with you 100%.
Well, the Democrats better get on ball. They better get on ball, and they better figure out how they're going to combat the Marco Rubio problem. He's going to be a problem.
Democrats have to look at why so many people who traditionally voted Democrat did not support the Democratic candidate. Either they stayed home or they voted for the other person. Why? You traditionally, a lot of us vote Democrat, and there were groups of us who did not support. So what did the Democrats do to lose their support or not earn their support? And that's what they're going to have to figure out if they want to gain those votes in the future, in future elections. They're going to figure out what did they do? Again, what you're saying, their messaging and their policies that didn't agree with your traditional voters who support you, and what made some of them stay home or just not vote for the Democratic candidate. If they can figure that out, they have a chance, but they have to figure that out because they lost voters. Hey, Cookie Alexander Campbell, how are you, my sister?
Well, they call it the 80-20 issue, right? They call it the 80-20. They were representing the 20% on policy. If look, even with the SAVE Act, right? Even with the SAVE Act, over 70% of Black Americans say we should have an ID. But these folks are on TV saying it's going to harm us. And 70% of African Americans feel that having voter ID is correct to voting. Making sure that the person is an American citizen is correct to voting. But they're fighting against it.
It would definitely eliminate the talking point that all these illegal immigrants are voting and still in the race and all that stuff. If you did do that, you eliminate all of that. Like, sometimes it's that, like, you hear these arguments, and the arguments is bullshit. But you're not doing nothing by fighting the issue. You're giving into it and giving that air. So, there are a lot of people who agree about the ID issue, and
I agree with it. And I agree with it. You had one person vote 7 times in Mount Vernon.
I don't know who that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know about that.
I'm not going to.
I don't know who that is.
No, I got you. But I'm saying,
look, if I say his name, you can be like, okay.
No. I don't want you to say the name. I was just saying I don't know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I say his name, you can be like, oh, okay. 7 times.
Yeah. Tell me off air. Yeah.
Well, his brother used to be a mayor. His brother used to be a mayor.
No more need to be said. I just don't know. I don't have confirmation on that, but we talk about that off air.
I have confirmation. Look, I had confirmation on it. And people were complaining about it. People literally was complaining about it. But California, you don't have to have an ID to go vote.
I lived in Georgia. I know you don't get away with that in Georgia. You don't vote. You don't have an ID. You don't have a state issue ID. You don't vote.
So
and then you pull out your ID, and if you don't have the ID, you don't vote. So I know there's a lot of states that do believe that. So Lonez, you said everybody want to be first. I'm the first of people before politics to walk 2 miles today. So yeah.
I like Marco Rubio. I like Marco Rubio. Yeah. I look, Marco Rubio. I got my money on Marco. You know why? Because the Latinos, the Cubans, they all gonna go for Marco. I got my money. I think Marco's going to take it. Whether he's president, I think he's out. I literally think he's going to bump JD Vance out the top. That's going to be interesting. That whole dynamics.
Damn.
That whole dynamics. Well. Oh, okay. You
Somalia just had an election for a prime minister, and they required 2 identifications to vote in their elections. Why can't we have a voter's ID?
Oh, well, wait a minit. Somalia.
That's what our listeners say.
Well, that's not what Omar is saying. She got to listen. She come over here talking about we don't need ID, right? Then go back over to your country. Then go back over to your country.
Now, I do know. I don't know if they updated this, but I do know back in 2015, when I was involved in the Richard Thomas campaign, there were people who were dead who had not been purged from the ballot, and I know at least one address that. When you check the address ended up being the center of Memorial Field. Like it's not a house. There's no house.
No, just last election, John Jones said
I haven't been checking signatures and stuff since then.
No, I'm just telling you. Just last election, John Jones said his uncle voted and his uncle's been dead.
Well, I know I had a couple of relatives because I checked. I had a couple of relatives who no longer lived in New York for over 5 and 10 years, and they still were on the roll. And I know a friend of mine whose relative was dead, their name was still on the roll. Nobody voted for them, but I mean, their name wasn't purged from the roll, though.
Well, the last lawsuit that ended up being dismissed. Those same arguments was put forth about people either being dead or moved to another state that voted in the Mount Vernon election.
Now, I do know that is true. People have moved, kept their Mount Vernon address, and did vote in the Mount Vernon election. I'm not even going to call out names for this conversation, but I personally do know people who they moved. Their primary residence is no longer in Mount Vernon, but they were still had a house or whatever in Mount Vernon, and they still voted in the Mount Vernon mayoral election.
Well, listen, I'm for it. I'm for it just because it's the right thing to do. And then, the argument about women, they're married, they can't change it, this and that. I can't believe that because my wife is married. She has a marriage certificate. I mean, like, come on, man. Like we are more Black people. We are more intelligent than what they're making us out to be.
I mean, in this day and time, as of last year, you are required to have a state issue ID to fly on any domestic flight in the United States. You cannot get on a plane without a state issue ID or your passport. So, I mean, this is the time and date. This is the times, and this is where we're moving. So, I mean, we probably are going to get. They're probably going to eventually get that.
No, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming. Like, look, even with my wife, right? She didn't update her passport, right? Her passport still says her maiden name, right? So I asked her, what name are you using before I get this plane ticket, right? Because we got to be consistent, right? Now we're going out the country. Her passport still has her maiden name. So when I get the ticket, I put her maiden name on it because she just hasn't taken the time, or she probably do it when it's time to renew it, and that's probably what she's going to do.
Well, I want to say it's a lot of work to change your last name because my passport is the same too. Because it was too much work to change my name everywhere. Damn it, it was too much work.
She just ain't do it. She just, but she gonna do it when she renew it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's when I plan on doing it, and that's not until 28.
I know when I had got divorced.
Wow. Look what Cookie said.
Be a poll
there was
worker for
2,000 people in Tuckahoe use addresses and don't live there at all.
Wow. I'm not surprised. Well, I know when I got divorced and, the judge asks you, all the different questions, and he asked me what did I want. And I said the only thing I wanted was for my name back. She not Tina Turner. She's not going to do no foolish stuff and still have my last name. I wanted my name back. Yes, she ain't Tina Turner. She didn't earn it. She's not leaving with my last name. And I got that. And he gave her whatever she needed. The clerk gave her whatever she needed to change all that. How many copies she needed to change everything back, because he wasn't walking around being foolish.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. The bank account, the job.
And you have to have a copy. And you have to have a copy for every one of those things too. You have to, because we had to go to the clerk. And they charged you, so she needed like 10 copies. And I was like, oh, I'll pay for that. And I'll pay for them copies real quick. So I was like, I ain't want to be like, you ain't got the money to pay for. Nope, I'll pay for them copies you need. I'll make it as easy as possible for you.
Let me tell you something. Once I changed the passport, it don't matter what happened between us. I'm keeping
No. You stupid. You stupid. I mean, look, here's the thing. If you bring the paperwork, just to prove that you are a U.S. citizen, sign the paperwork and keep it moving. I mean, it's not. I mean, now everybody has to get the real ID sooner or later. And with the real ID, you have to show a birth certificate or passport or something like that. With the real ID,
your social security card, you got to show. I just went through this before I went overseas. Your birth certificate, your social security card. You got to prove your address. You got to
leave a fingerprint.
Right, it's a whole point system, and you got to have enough things to fit into all of those points, and you get it. You can get a state issue ID or a license, but you got to do extra to get the real ID. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get on the plane without the real ID with that star in the corner. It got to have that star on it. Because the last I just flew somewhere, and they was like, that's what the president said. If you don't know if you got one, look for a star. If you ain't got a star in the corner, get out of line because you're not getting any further. They made that announcement. They was like, look at your ID and make sure you have a star before you get up to the thing. And then sure enough, there was about 15 people looked in and had to get out of line because they didn't have no star in it. They thought they had a real ID. I guess they didn't go through it. I guess they didn't know what the real ID was. But that just happened.
Well, it was an enhanced ID, and then they came out first. And then they came out with the real ID. So they just
because the enhanced ID was good. Hey, Rosa, how you doing? Now, enhanced ID was as good as a passport if you were going like Canada, Mexico, and stuff. You didn't need your passport. You could use your enhanced. I don't think you could use it internationally, but you could use it like Canada, Mexico, maybe the Caribbean. I'm not sure, but that was it. You know what I'm saying? And then it was as good as a passport for that. But the thing is, though, everybody complained about the real ID. This thing has been in existence for over a decade. They just didn't enforce it yet. You know what I'm saying? And then they did, and then they rolled it out at least a year or two, letting everybody know, like telling you now you got till, and it was like 6 months away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they did the rollout. So, and they did a good job promoting it because I've seen it everywhere on TV, apps. I mean, pop-ups on my phone. I've seen it everywhere.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what we're getting to now, and especially because of the concern with immigration, because that is on the front line. That's on the front page of every newspaper. That's a hot topic issue. Because of that issue, they're going to enforce this at some level. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, it is going to end up getting enforced.
No, it's happening, man. Let's just go with it. Stop playing, political football and all this other nonsense and all this nonsense that's going on in the House and the Senate. It's just a bunch of nonsense, bro. It's just it, man. Like every country has borders, right? That's how you know you got a goddamn country. You got borders.
You're absolutely right. That's why I said she didn't earn it. She didn't earn it like Tina. My wife didn't earn that. Tina earned earned the last name.
No, it's yo, dude. It's crazy when you hear what some people are saying. Like, like, dude, we're supposed to have borders. Like you don't let anybody in your house.
The people who complain about the real ID, they all have one. Do you understand that? The people who are on the front page complaining about that, in their wallet, they have one.
They have a real ID. But if you use if you use all that information to get a real ID, then you use the information to register to vote. It's just like
it's all about starting things new. You see, I know plenty of people that go shopping on Christmas Eve for Christmas. You knew the date was coming. You know you celebrate Christmas. Why are you outside Christmas Eve? So we always wait to the last minute.
Yo, we did a some job. I have had a few like real jobs. One of the jobs I had, we had the Secret Santa thing, and I had just started the job like a month or so before. So, you got to wait to that first paycheck, and my first paycheck wasn't until the 22nd or the 23rd. And the person wanted a Walmart gift card, and I had to stand in the line for like almost 2 hours to get this damn Walmart. But that was my first check for that job, though. So, and I was like, I'll never do this. I'll never do no last minute shopping like this again, ever. But
I remember my whole life growing up. That's what my cousin did, and he would bring out the kids. I guess they was in the house gift wrapping the gifts or something, because every Christmas Eve we would be somewhere in Jersey. Like, why are we outside? Like, why?
Yo, my father worked for General Motors, and every January they had something called the changeover. So they got this big check. So I would get something on Christmas, but my birthday is February 5th. So towards the middle to end of January, I would get, a lump sum of money to do, and it was like for my birthday and for Christmas, and I would get all the gifts and stuff like that. So I shopped after Christmas. Like most of my life, I shopped after Christmas.
Yeah. All right. So, go ahead, AJ.
Nah, that was it. I was just talking about my shopping.
So, moving forward, man, I just want to get in. We done talked over almost an hour already, man.
We ain't covered nothing yet.
Exactly. We ain't covered.
I don't know what y'all was talking about before I got here. I just added to what y'all was talking about.
We talking about the first women.
We were talking about the first women.
Then we went down a whole rabbit hole.
Exactly.
Congratulations to the 2 Black women who just got promoted to captain in the Mount Vernon Police Department. They are the first Black women captains in the Mount Vernon Police Department. They'll be one of the spotlights this week for Women's History Month.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, what's up, brother?
I need a statement from Blacks in law enforcement.
Oh yeah, man.
Mr. Jones.
You just make one, brother. You just make one up, man. Let me say
Don't say that publicly. They'd be like, "Oh, they didn't write this. They just making this stuff up. None of this stuff is real." Don't say that.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, man. One thing I know, ain't no drive-by shootings in California with all that gas, with those gas prices. That's how I want to move into that.
We got bad in New York too. They haven't.
Oh, wait up, AJ. I gotta add you. Oh, there you go.
They've got people on scooters going through the housing projects, shooting up the place. They're not even in cars no more. They're like the little scooters and bikes now.
Yeah. So this is a little report. I mean, up here, gas ain't that bad, but I know a lot of people, ain't.
It's bad.
Huh?
It's bad. It's not $5 bad, but it's $4 bad.
It's 83.
No,
it's not $4.
No, it's not $4. I just got gas in Yonkers and it wasn't $4 yet.
It was $3. Well, I just got gas. It was $3.50 something. As soon as I paid $3.50 something, it's $4.
Yeah. Well,
in my head.
Yeah. So let's check it
This
out.
side of town, Chris, as you said, well over $5 an average. And this is actually one of the highest gas prices that we're seeing here in this city. I'll give you another example. If you're just joining us in our 8 o'clock hour, look at that, $5.99 for regular gas, $6.29 for extra, and $6.89 for Supreme. It really is just a sight to see. But again, this is just this particular gas station on 11th Avenue and 51st Street. Now, there on your screen, you can see it's not just here. Prices are up across the region. New York State, for instance, $3.69.
About right up here,
New Jersey, $3.75. Connecticut, $3.70. And the national average, $3.84. The spike comes as oil prices climb above $108 a barrel, up more than 5%, following escalating tensions linked to the war in Iran. This side of town, Chris.
Yeah. So,
it's only going to get worse.
Well, we're going to see. I mean, he got 90 days. Iran is pulling. Listen, everybody had a plan. I think Iran had a better plan than America had the plan because they had the Strait of Hormuz. And they was just going to when your back's against the wall and you got no fight left, to control the Strait of Hormuz was the ultimate plan of Iran. I don't think that the United States and those took that. I don't think they calculated. They calculated it, but I don't think they calculated what Iran's plan was. And they got to figure it out. They definitely got to figure it out. Because the gas prices is crazy, but they're going there. But I mean, look, let's have an honest conversation. They're going over there for the oil. That's what they want anyway.
Well, this is just the first hit. We filling in the gas first. Then it's our bills. Then it's the food.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When the gas prices go up, everything else go up.
Glad winter's over because that's heat and oil for your heat in the house. So the war in Iran started late February 2026 and has caused U.S. gas prices to surge over 30% in 3 weeks, hitting an average of nearly $3.95 per gallon. By March 25th, from $2.98, the spike follows the Iran blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, which you said, impacting 20% of global oil, leading to fears of short-term affordability shock and restricted economic growth. Yeah.
So we got a whole month.
And the areas, southern and southwestern states, including Texas, Mexico, Oklahoma, saw some of the steepest increases, with New Mexico hit with a near 40% surge.
Well, I know that
oil prices surpassed $100 per gallon for the first time in 4 years, driving increase to the pump.
Well, these gas increases is going to inflation even more, right? And it doesn't announce itself. It kind of just creeps through. Oh, gas is $5. I'm gonna hit you with the inflation like this. Bow.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
Yeah. Well, this is Iran's plan. Whether the great minds of war in the Department of War now, if they calculated that, or whether they didn't calculate that. They didn't calculate that they was going to do it, but everybody else did. So what is he going to do? He got to he's going to have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like his other thing about the stocks. You see it pop up.
Headlines here: the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 all lower here today, and all down nearly 10% from their recent highs. That would be called a correction. It was just last month that the Dow topped 50,000. It's down 5,000 points since then. The shock to the world's oil supply driving prices up for both oil and gas. Gas prices now up 93 cents a gallon since the war began. And Tom, it's also mortgage rates now affected by all all of this. Now above 6.5% for a 30-year mortgage. It was less than a month ago that they were below 6% for the first time in years, Tom.
You know what, David? Let me say something real quick. So shout out to our brothers, Rashad Bilal and Troy Millens that we saw yesterday. Lanez and I went to see them. And one of the things that Rashad was talking about that we as a people don't pay attention to, and those with money and other people pay attention to, a lot of stocks is about to drop real quick. We heading to
people
and this is the time. And this is the time to buy.
But the reference and the metaphor he used was.
I'm getting ready to do that. Yeah, I'm going.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm going. So he was like, "Yo, black people, Damon." He said, "When you find out Nikes or whatever is 30% off, you got to go buy that because it's 30% off." When you see a stock drop 30%, you be like, "Oh man, it's dropping." He said, "No, that's not the way you need to look at it. That's the time you need to buy." He said, "Because all the people with money, when it gets to a certain height, they sell, and then they wait for it to drop all the way down, and then they rebuy all that stock again and let it build back up. And that's how they build their wealth. And that's one of the things we don't take advantage of." And he said, coming soon, we're going to have what's called the correction. We might not have the stock exchange like we had before where everything dropped, where it crashed. He said, but we're going to have a correction. And everybody needs to be sitting there getting whatever money they can get and start buying this stuff, because there's certain things that everybody has to use. And those things people are still going to buy, and you need to invest in those. And our community doesn't take advantage of that. So, again, no matter what happens, we have to figure out, and Damon tries to talk about this a lot, how as Black people can we take advantage of these things that everybody else is taking advantage of that we miss out on? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we need to be thinking. And that's very important. Lanez is writing an article about it, and then I have the whole video of him speaking, and I'm going to post that in her article so everybody can see it, because he gave a lot of information that our community needs. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he used to, before he was doing Earn Your Leisure, he was on Black Westchester, coming on once a month as a special co-host. He was writing articles every month and trying to share this information. A lot of stuff he just talks about in Earn Your Leisure, he was sharing with the Black Westchester audience, and y'all wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? But now he's doing this on Earn Your Leisure. He dropped mad gems. Him and Troy dropped mad gems yesterday. And we're going to share the video. And I implore everybody to pay attention to what he said, because no matter what the government is doing, no matter racism and all those other things, no matter all the things that are causing all these things to prices go high, this is something we can take advantage of that every other group of people is taking advantage of but us. And this is how we can come up. So I just wanted to put that out with the prices. Prices are dropping. We are going to hit some kind of correction. Might not be a crash, but it's going to be a correction for sure. And that is the time to buy everything that you can. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got your pennies, put your pennies into it, and the most important thing is, this is not something, and this is where we fail too. We put some money in today. Next week, we're looking for a profit. You know what I'm saying? The people who got money, they know this is a 5-10 year thing. You know what I'm saying? The 20 year, they ride this out, and that's why they always keep money. But we don't look at that. We need to take whatever money that we spend on an extra pair of Jordans or whatever the hell else you're buying that you really don't need, because we buy more shit that we don't need than anybody else. So instead of spending that money there, buy some stock and then let that money sit and let that money make money for you while you sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there. Go ahead, Damon.
So, Damon, I know you need to share that post when you were inviting people to invest in the group.
Yeah, ain't nobody join. I ain't even start the thing.
You know what? We need to redo that, Damon. And I've been busy, and I really didn't, and I plan on doing it as well. But restart that and send me the information, because I'm definitely, that is something, especially after the conversation yesterday. I'm guilty too. Sometimes we were like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that," and then life's, and you don't ever get to it. But this is something we need to jump on right now. So, Damon, you need to re-talk about it, even if it's not today, and reshare it.
Feel like
to people, huh?
He said, "I don't feel like it." I done moved on.
No, we need to.
Listen, I ain't got time to be begging people to
But
be
it's
part of
not
something.
begging. It ain't begging.
Yeah,
You know what? You
listen,
planted the seed, and AJ walked into the garden and realized he was walking amongst the flowers that you already planted the seed.
yeah.
Right.
All right. Well,
So everybody's not
we'll
gonna jump on it. Everybody's not gonna jump on it, but some
I don't even
will.
know.
And for
I
those,
think I deleted the. I think I even deleted the damn thing in here, man. Yep, I deleted it. Listen.
but you don't have to wait for Damon's thing. You can start your own investment groups. You and your family members, you and your friends, and you all invest as a group. Like start your own little. There's things you can do yourself.
I'm going to try to get. Yeah, I thought I blocked this Negro on my Facebook page. Why is he on my timeline? But I'll tell you later who it was. I don't know why this Negro's on my timeline. What's up, Mike?
Information and education is the key. We don't take advantage of it.
Yo, are you still working, man? He's still up there. Correction, man. Hope all is well up there, man. Every time I get a call, there's some craziness going on, man. My brother Richard, man, that's what's happening. Yeah, so let's get into Fareed Zakar. I love Fareed Zakar, man. One thing he gets into the war economy, and this is another thing I don't think that they tallied into this war. Oh, you retired? God bless you, man. Yo, you ain't invite me to your retirement party, man. Nah, I'm only joking. Yeah. This is another thing is the war economy that I don't think the United States has wait a minute. Yeah, this is Fareed. Yeah, this is Fareed. Yeah, let's play Fareed.
Drones accounted for about 70.
Hey, that's not Fareed.
You got there's
strikes
feedback
on Gulf states. According,
that's not Fareed. What's going on? Where's my Fareed at, man? All right, we're gonna move.
Came up on the last clip.
Huh?
The last clip, the second clip, it had his name on it. What that wasn't it?
Nah, that was I don't know, the stocks and bonds one. You know what? Let me do this. All right, let's see if we get it this time.
IS analysis.
There
the
we go.
UAE alone reportedly faced 1,422 detected drones and 200. Here's my take. Beneath the daily headline of strikes and counterstrikes in the Middle East, we're witnessing something seismic. War is being utterly transformed. In the first week of Tehran's retaliation campaign, drones accounted for about 71% of recorded strikes on Gulf states, according to a CSIS analysis. The UAE alone reportedly faced 1,422 detected drones and 246 missiles in just 8 days. We could already glimpse many of these trends in Ukraine, but in Iran, the future of war has definitively come into view. Michael Horowitz of the Council on Foreign Relations says, we are now in the era of precise mass in war. For decades, precision warfare meant a handful of Tomahawk missiles, stealth bombers, or fighter jets. Now it can mean a one-way drone built from commercial parts and launched in swarms. What used to require a great industrial nation's capacity can increasingly be assembled, adapted, and scaled by much smaller states. The economics of war are being turned upside down. A Shaheed-type drone often costs around $35,000. A Patriot interceptor costs about $4 million, which would buy over 100 drones. This is the new arithmetic of conflict. The attacker spends thousands, the defender spends millions. But the revolution is bigger than drones. It's really about a new military architecture. Cheap autonomous systems, AI-assisted targeting, commercial satellite imagery, resilient communications, integrated sensors, and cyber tools all operating together. The aim is not merely to strike. it is to compress time, to find, decide, and hit faster than the enemy can move, hide, or recover. In an experiment last year, the Air Force said that machines generated recommendations in under 10 seconds and produced 30 times more options than human-only teams.
We're in a new era of war. And these Negroes went into the war and they wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. Iran was ready. And I seen those drones. If anybody, we had this channel for what? How long we had the channel, AJ?
The show?
Yeah.
August will be 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. We've been up in 12 years. We they're going to adapt because there's, technology. It is what it is. Technology, and probably people's already building drones. I saw a company that I guess they hired, and it's about, please, when will this war stop? Well, he got 90 days and then it goes back to Congress.
Well, I feel like Iran was waiting for this moment. They was waiting for this moment because they are over prepared.
For 47. No. We played with them for 47 years.
They was playing they were playing with us the other day. They drew some planes on the floor.
And then they bombed them.
And they bombed them, thinking they was real.
Yeah, the satellite picked them up. No, listen. This is the inaction of the United States, right? They played with Iran for 47 years. They gave Iran billions of dollars. United States gave them billions of dollars. They played the game, and they gave them 47 years to prepare, to put out a plan. I mean, it is what it is. So now we're here, and we didn't really have a plan because they just wanted to. I can't forget who I was watching, and they said for a long time, United States policy to keep people in line was to just give them money. Right? That's why Kamala Harris, basically the black African leaders, told her to get up out of there because she was tying money, American money, to them with their LGBTQ laws. It was like, no, you can't give us money for that. And there's another book I recommend everybody read. It's called The Economic Hitman. And it's how and he goes in detail how the United States bribes countries through money, through giving them money. So, it is what it is. And we have and we're paying the price for war at the end of the day. Last subject is TSA, man. If you traveling, Lord have mercy. God bless you. A lot of Western powers in general do this. Absolutely. But you know what? They do it with U.S. money. That's the thing. Look, the war in Ukraine with Russia, that's not the United States war. That's Europe. That's UK and them. That's not our war. We dropping all this money over there, and we're not benefiting. We don't benefit any of it. That's why Trump was like, listen, we need your minerals. You got to give up something. You got to give us something because we don't benefit from that. We don't benefit from that. Like it wouldn't change our geopolitical strategy if Russia took back what was what was theirs under the Soviet Union. after the Soviet Union fell. And we all forgot about the Soviet Union. We forgot all about that. Yeah. Yeah. That was the old Soviet Union. So, I mean, economic hitman is real. So TSA, let's hope ICE will not be the new TSA agents. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. But because he's threatening to do that. He's threatening to do that. Well, let's check it out.
TSA travel woes causing scenes like this at airports.
Hey, see, they just did it again, man. Oh, I know what I have to do. Let me kick that out.
New York City and Houston. A sea of people trying to escape for spring break,
crazy.
instead finding themselves trapped in long security lines.
No.
Oh, I don't know, a couple thousand people on right now.
On Truth Social, President Trump saying he'll move ICE agents to the airports where they will do security starting Monday, adding he has told them to get ready. While Elon Musk on X offering to pay the salaries of TSA personnel during this funding impasse. An attempt by Senate Democrats to advance a bill funding just the TSA.
The motion is not agreed to.
Failing to secure enough votes today. TSA officers going on 36 days without pay as the partial government shutdown continues with no sign of a resolution. The TSA saying more than 400 officers have quit their jobs. Others are calling in sick. Friday, more than a quarter of officers didn't show up at JFK. Roughly a third were a no-show in Atlanta. And at Houston's Hobby Airport, more than half. Some are getting second jobs to make ends meet.
I have a really good friend that is part of the TSA. He's reached out to me a couple times about things that are going on and maybe other job opportunities for him, but he is definitely struggling right now.
Denver International Airport setting up a collection box.
Today we dropped off some gift cards to grocery stores and gas stations, quite a few for them to use, hopefully.
At Newark Liberty, some arriving early to avoid any problems.
I didn't know what to expect, and I've been tracking it online.
Whatever the solution, travelers are anxious for the turbulence to end.
Valerie Castro joins me from Newark International Airport. Valerie, how long should travelers plan to wait at airports across the country?
Well, Jose, it really varies depending on where you are departing from. Right now at Houston's Bush Intercontinental, there is an estimated 80-minute wait at one of the security checkpoints there. Here at Newark in Terminal A, it's less than 10 minutes, and things have been running smoothly here for most of the day. Jose?
Valerie Castro at Newark Airport. Thank you.
Let me tell you, y'all better go to Newark. You better go to Newark. You better go to Newark and Newark. Let me tell you something. Newark is a good. You could get in and out of Newark, but their parking is horrible. Newark's parking is horrible, and they charge a lot of money. And the it was a zoo. Yeah. Well, LaGuardia. Nah, I would go to, if it was me, I would go to Newark. I would just Uber to Newark, right? Because I wouldn't even deal with that. Because if you want to get cheap parking, you got to go to like the hotels over there, then catch a shuttle. And that's just too much. I can't, but Newark, every time we went through Newark, it was so easy, man. It was so easy.
Even during COVID, I was going in and out of Newark. That's where I was leaving from because JFK and LaGuardia, they was doing too much.
Exactly. Like you gotta mess, you gotta mess with Newark. And Trump is threatening. But let's get to the nitty-gritty, man. Like they're not, we're gonna go through this. Bust the Newark airport.
I mean, you can take Amtrak get you there in about 20 minutes. It's cheap. Take you right to the
I'm a driver. I need front door service.
Listen, I'm up here, man. I'm getting in an Uber.
No, I'm not talking about you. But I'm saying for people that don't want to do that, and Amtrak's a better option than the bus.
Right, but
2 stops.
So we're gonna go through this, through the Senate on passing the budget, and we're Yeah, we're gonna go through this, and I think they probably have to have another one probably later on this year, man. And when people don't get their way, they're gonna shut down the government. But all this is over ICE. But ICE is funded, I think, till 2028 or 2029. But this is all because they want to make negotiations over ICE. So they can't affect.
You see what Trump said? He gonna
What?
tell them to go into the airports and it's gonna be security like you never seen before. They ain't highlight.
Yeah.
They ain't highlight the whole sentence.
Yeah, but they said he's thinking about pulling back because the unions are pushing back, because that's almost like union busting, right? So that is not. He said it, but it's Trump, man. The consequences, right? The unintended consequences of your actions, like you don't even think about it, right? You just throw it out there. You don't even think about the unintended consequence. But they said that he might pull it back because the unions have pushed back, because that's like union busting, and having an outside entity do a job that's a union job. That's a problem.
And here's for what you were just talking about. ICE is already funded through 2029 under the Working Families Tax Cut to secure the borders and protect Americans.
Yeah, they already funded. This is
2029 under that act. It's already funded to 2029.
But when they talk about cutting money to city, state, federal government workers, right? They always try to reassign somebody that's already funded. That's what's going on. That's what's going on.
Right.
Y'all messing up. You messing up. You in these streets. Too many people dying. We paying too much money out. These things is going. We got to redirect them somewhere, so we can feel like our dollars being spent properly, because it's not. No.
He knows what buttons to push. Yeah, he gaslights. He gaslights all the time. He gaslights. And when you react in emotional politics, he gaslights, and they respond.
Wait, and then when he the few times that he gaslight and he's wrong, he will say the complete opposite next week. Like, so it don't matter. It don't matter that he was wrong. Like, he just say the complete opposite, like he never said that last week.
Right. He gaslights. He gaslights. He's the best at it. Listen, when he thanked Schumer, the biggest gaslight, bro. When he thanked Schumer for passing that budget, Democrats went crazy on Schumer. If he didn't say that, they probably it was just passed and all that. But when he put that tweet out and he said, "Oh, I want to thank Schumer for blah 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 blah," they lost it. They lost it, and Schumer is in the position now because of passing that bill. So now I don't think Democrats don't want to pay for security because we don't vote for them anymore. They forgot they work for us. We don't work for them. This is America. Well, yeah, every politician, allegedly they're supposed to work for us. A lot of them work for AIPAC. A lot of them work for the lobbyists.
The lobbyists.
A lot of them work for the lobbyists, which is,
the lobbyists.
That's Supreme Court. That's Supreme Court ruling that corporations are people too, is what killed democracy in America. You're being extorted by our public servant? Yeah, well, yeah, because they always mess up. They always mess up, and then they want to tax us.
This is before anybody says anything. We've been doing Black Westchester, like I said, 12 years, and even when there were Democrats in office, the one thing that we can say has been consistent, and we've been saying this since day one. Democrats are famous for fumbling the ball on the 5-yard line every time. They fumble the ball on the 5-yard line. They're ahead in the game. They fumble the ball on the 5-yard line with very little time on the clock. The other team gets the ball, runs it back, and we lose the game. They are famous for that. They beat themselves. It's not that they're getting beaten, they beat themselves. Sometimes the policies, sometimes not being in tune to the issues, sometimes fighting for stuff they don't need to be fighting for, talking about stuff that's not the pocketbook issues that America or their constituents care about. And you got to get more in tune to what their constituents care about, what the important issues are to your constituents. That is why you got elected, and that is the problem. But me and Damon said this before, when lobbyists like AIPAC support these candidates and give them considerable money so they can win, and we don't give no money to our candidates, when the phone calls come, the AIPAC and the lobbyists' phone calls get answered first. Why? Because they put up considerable money to help these people win. We don't have no black PACs. We don't support our candidates. And even when they want to do right by us, they took money from other people because we're not supporting them.
Right.
And that's just real talk. I mean, that's just real talk. That's not the way it should be, but that's just real talk.
No, well, I mean, it's all on us, and I really, that's a conversation I would love to have with Rashad and Troy, because I brought it up to my cousin. Right now, my cousin is in Atlanta. Him and his wife, they're in that whole influencer circle. Even Rashad, Bilal, that whole Atlanta circle. Been down there, met all the who's who, right? And my point to my cousin was, yo, it's nice. Y'all got Lamborghinis. Y'all got all this fly shit out here. Big houses. You go to the club and everybody lining up. They let black people, right? It's good to see, man. It's enjoying. Good to see brothers pulling up their expensive cars and their Rolls Royces and all that. They doing all that. They doing it. And dudes are in real estate. They do it. Yeah, it sounds like it is Atlanta. But when you look at the politicians, when you go to the campaign finance roles of the politicians, y'all are not there. Y'all are not giving 300,000, 400,000, right? Mm-hmm. It's nice to see you on Instagram flying your private jet, eating your nice food, and talking about how you're rich and you can make money and you could teach us to be rich. But I don't see you on those. I don't see you on those roles. I don't see you donating $1 million to what's his name? One of the black politicians down there, where he gets all his money from some of his money from the healthcare and this and that. I don't see y'all brothers doing that. And I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking at all. But I'm saying this. That's where the real power is at. The white man don't care if you make millions and you go on Instagram and you want to teach other people to get money. He don't care. But when you start talking that and you start controlling your politicians, that's when you are rich. Elon Musk showed y'all what rich people do with their money. They buy a president.
When like you said, I live down there's a lot of people like that, and it would be nothing for several of them to get together, start their own black pack, and give several $100,000 on a block to certain candidates. But they got pissed off with me, Damon, because I was like, yo, they walking around like they rich. I said, no, y'all just Atlanta rich. Y'all couldn't live nowhere else like that. Like, y'all just Atlanta rich. Like, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't live like that in New York, California, Texas, nowhere else. Chicago, you couldn't live like that nowhere else.
You can live like that in Texas. You can live like that in Texas. You can live like that in New York, but they're going to take half your shit in taxes. You can live like that in California too. They're gonna take half your shit in taxes. That's why rich people are moving from New York and California. No. It's look what you say when 50 said. He's like, dude, I had to leave New York because New York was becoming a business partner.
He said, yeah. He said they was taking 49%. He said that makes you a partner. He said they wasn't contributing to none of my businesses, but they was
exactly. But even if you're rich down there, even if you got money, even if you're doing all those things, real power is in politics.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
But for someone like me, and I pull up the role of a Georgia senator, a Georgia congressman, and I don't see y'all brothers on that role, then that means you miss part of the powernomics with Dr. Claude Anderson. You know what I'm saying? Like you missed that part because you don't control your politics. And no, those group of brothers should be getting together, and that mayor of Atlanta shouldn't be. Nobody else donate to you, brother. We control this. And if you're not doing the right thing, we will take the money that we gave you, give it to another person, and take you out. And take you out.
They have the money to do it.
In the same place, same name. I can't think of the damn dude's name. He's a pastor, and I'm not fond of him.
Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock. Like I've looked at healthcare and all these other things, and you're trying to tell me he gets all this money from these healthcare companies, and HIV and all that is rampant in Georgia. So what is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing to stop it? He's not going to stop it. You know why? Because the same companies that donate to his campaign is making money on Black people having AIDS. Let's call it what it is. And this soundbite, I'm cutting and I'm posting it.
As you should.
You know what I'm saying? So if y'all know this, family in Atlanta, all y'all influencers, y'all need to run your own person against him, because he's working against the community. He ain't out here. He all that AIDS, the people that's donating them are the ones that are making the millions of dollars of Black people being sick.
For the medication and the healthcare and all that.
Exactly. And I personally looked at his thing because I was really questioning what he was saying to RFK about health and wellness. So I had to look. Well, what side are you on? Oh, wait a minute. You got 800,000 here, 500,000 here. Oh, okay. I know where you at. And even the other Black girl, even other Black senator that was questioning him, she was on the payroll of Big Pharma and the medical industry. And so was Bernie Sanders, millions of dollars. And these are the people that we champion. I mean, we got to get it together. We definitely have to get it together because we're the ones that's losing. And then in New York, it look like their only thing is that we just gonna tax people. Oh, that was the last video. So you know, our governor at one point told the rich, if they don't like New York, to leave. Didn't she? Yep. And now she asking the rich to come back. Why is the rich going to come back for you to tax them?
No incentive.
No. It doesn't make any sense. You know, but that's what they do. Oh man, what happened to the thing? So you know, I'm trying to find the video, y'all. But I don't know what I did with it. It disappeared on me. Oh, it's in the wrong folder. Yeah, so and that's the thing. That New York policies is running the rich and the working class. We talk about it at least once a month, but it's crazy. It's even crazier that she had the mitigated gall to even say it. Here we go.
The era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town.
Now that's 2022.
Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers. I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state, right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. The era of Trump
and it's definitely a problem. No state has seen.
Oh, hold on. I meant to add that. Hold on.
Leave in 10
Look at
years than New York. Mike, that soundbite is.
So look at the numbers though. From 2012 to 2022, how much money has left New York and California because of the policies? Rich can get up and leave. My next door neighbor, she wasn't rich. She was a retired CEO from Rikers. She just sold her house and she went to Atlanta. People are leaving. And
yeah, the people are leaving, and Atlanta's starting to get more expensive. They're picking areas like North Carolina, Charlotte, and areas like that are starting to bubble now. And there's other areas down south that are starting to bubble. You know what I'm saying? And that's where people are going. And you know, taking their retirement. Hey, your boy Mitch, what did he do when he retired? He down in North Carolina living good. When we had a meeting, he was sitting in his backyard in his gazebo, smoking a cigar. Remember, we had to be just chilling and shit. Like, you know.
Right. Now they said, to be fair, the number of millionaires have increased in New York in recent years. Yeah, but they're still leaving. They're getting up. Yeah, they increased till they start seeing their tax bill.
But there's two things in that conversation. There may be more millionaires and maybe more millionaires are growing. But that number shows you the billions of dollars that have left New York to go somewhere else. That's the conversation, not if there are more millionaires coming up now, because there will be more people that are coming up and being millionaires. But to this point, $111 billion, according to that graphic, $1 billion has left New York State. That's a situation that number need to be looked at. You know what I'm saying? With all the things going on in New York, Atlanta is overpopulated because when they built that area, they didn't build it for the expansion that they got. They weren't prepared for the expansion.
Well, I would
it was like the gold rush for black people. A couple of black people went down there, made money, and told everybody else, and the whistle went out.
No. People are making money, absolutely. But when you start to make money, you start looking at how much you're spending.
How much,
and you want you want to keep your money. That's the thing.
People who have money, real money, the goal is to keep as much of it as possible. When they have businesses, they try to make as much profit and spend as little as possible. That's why they don't pay their workers a lot of money. People who got money, that's the recipe to keep as much of it. So with these tax incentives to keep as much of it, moving to a different state where taxes are cheaper to keep as much of it, moving your businesses there to keep as much of it so that you stay rich or wealthy or whatever it is. Yeah. And plus there's a difference between, let's deal with this. The Black people don't know the difference. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. We have a lot of rich Black people. The people that pay them are wealthy people. Hey, Dawn, how you doing? The people that pay them are wealthy. The people we see on the front line, and then you don't know none of their names. But the people that you do see out there, a lot of them is rich. At some point back in the days, there was an article, I wish I could find it. It said that Bill Gates gained or lost Oprah's net worth every day in the stock market. On any given day, he gained or lost her net worth. So while Oprah's one of the richest Black people we have, Bill Gates is wealthy on a whole nother level. Like if Bill Gates woke up tomorrow morning with just Oprah's net worth, he'd probably kill himself. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's how much that's the difference in rich and wealthy. And we have a lot of people we see rich and we celebrate them and they're in a couple of magazines and stuff. The people you don't see, those are the wealthy people behind the scenes. Those are the most you don't see them. You don't hear them. They're not in the news all the time.
Yeah, I just want to address what he said. He said snowbirds. Yeah, but you got to understand the system behind snowbirds. They go down there because they stay, and that's their homestead. The New York house is the second house. The New York house is the second house. So they're getting the tax breaks. And now look, New York City itself has a bigger budget than the state of Florida. And they're getting ready to get rid of property taxes in Florida.
And they don't got no state tax.
Right. And they're getting ready to get rid of property taxes. I've always said property taxes is a sham. You don't pay taxes. You don't pay taxes on your car after you finish paying for your car. You don't be paid anything in your house. Why? So why are you paying taxes on something that you paid off of? And it's a sham because if you bought the house 45 years ago, 60 years ago, it's not at the same price as it is now. So now they're taxing on what your house gained. And that's the biggest way people lose in foreclosure is property taxes. Because if you retired in the 60s and you paid your house off, they're taxing you for what it's worth in 2026. So you might have paid $150,000 for the house in 1975. Now the house is worth $750,000, and they're taxing you off of $750,000. Not what you bought it for. It's a scam. We keep voting for the same people that are scamming us, Democrats and Republicans. We don't ask them questions. Go ahead.
I want to give the numbers to what Damon just said. As early 2026, New York City proposed budget exceeded the entire state of Florida. Mandami proposed budget of $127 billion, primarily budget is roughly $10 billion higher than Florida's $111 billion budget, despite the fact that Florida has nearly 3 times the population.
Exactly.
What when you say stuff, I wanted to put that in perspective, like numbers, for you can hear it and see it. Like that's
right. So what are we doing? What are they doing in New York City, right? That they have a bigger budget than Florida and have a lesser population. What is going on?
8 million as opposed to 23 plus million.
So the state of Florida is 23 plus million.
Yeah, and the population in New York City is just 8 million.
And the crime is lower in the whole damn state. And Police departments throughout the state are well funded. They look good. So what is just New York City? And it's cleaner. It's a hell of a lot cleaner. We have to sooner or later, we have to break the political mindset that we have here. And then people make excuses. Oh, well, you get less services. Obviously not. People keep moving there.
wait, this is a bigger thing.
Right?
David, bigger than Florida, New York City's fiscal 2026 preliminary budget has reached an estimated $127 million, exceeding the annual spending of 47 U.S. states. 40 of the 50, the New York City's budget surpasses the total state budget. The spending of 47, the annual spending of 47 U.S. states. 47.
And then now he wants to go give away free shit, right? Now you want to give away free shit, and you
got it.
Huh?
He said he got it. Looking at that spending, he got it.
Well, shit, got it where? Because he's getting ready to raise people property taxes 9%.
Right, and that's the preliminary budget. It ain't approved yet. I don't think it's got approved. That's got to get approved.
Right. He's going for the property taxes. He's about to lower the estate tax from $7 million to $750,000. He's going to, if he does that just for New York City, right? Because the state has to do it for the state, but they get a homestead. If they give that to him, he's going to literally erase Black generational wealth.
You said,
and y'all Negroes voted for it.
You said lower it to 700,000?
750,000.
There's a lot of houses in Mount Vernon worth 750,000 or better. Just to give
no, right? No, but
no. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah. No.
To give you an idea, so regular people like people who live in Mount Vernon, if they was in the city, they're gonna be taxed out. They ain't gonna be able to afford it anymore.
No, Queens, all the places where the homes is at, is done. With Black people, it's done because when you pay that estate tax, you have to pay it in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So what will happen is that the family that is left the house to, they're gonna have to sell the house just to pay the damn taxes. Well, I have a hard time believing it will happen. What? He wouldn't make it out alive. Well, listen, he's proposing it. He's proposing it. But just to put it out there to have that type of conversation is dangerous because you know why? And I'm going to tell y'all Black people, these Democratic socialists, they're filling up your state assembly and they're filling up your state senate. And they believe in that bullshit that Mandami is saying. Y'all stop voting for some of these people, man, especially working class people, because all they want to do is tax you and give away free shit. They don't improve the educational system. They don't talk about trade and training people for this new economy that's coming up. They just want to tax people and give you free shit. That's another reason why our electric bills is a mortgage, because they pushed and closed Indian Point because all this environmental bullshit. And I'm saying it because my electric bill has doubled. You know why? Because they have to import the electricity now. We have to stop voting for these people.
Question.
Yes.
Indian Point was where all that toxic water was, right?
Allegedly.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we was talking about the same thing. I just wanted to make sure.
No. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, black people that own brownstones are in big trouble. Absolutely. Them houses are millions of dollars. Them brownstones in Harlem, forget about it. Harlem's done.
So
Harlem's done.
Here's the thing. So yeah, there was a lot of environmental groups that were pushing for it, and there were safety concerns. But here, once again, you took something away without putting in
exactly
without replacing a healthy alternative to it. So the unintended consequences, what you were talking about, the unintended consequences of that, like we can't just keep closing stuff. Now, I'm not saying it was healthy. There were serious safety concerns, but in closing it, what did you put that was better for the environment in its place? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and if you're doing that, you can't just outright just close the door. You have to decrease the dependency on that and increase the dependency on something that's more healthier for the environment. But just shutting the door one day, the unintended consequences is what Damon is talking about. We're not saying that Indian Point is good. Like just be clear.
No. I just wanted to verify that I was thinking about the same place that he was talking about.
Yeah, it was in Buckingham, New York, 38 miles out of NYC. The Indian Point, Indian Point Energy Center, a nuclear power plant in Buckingham, Buchanan, New York. I have to pronounce Buchanan, New York. It permanently shut down April 2021. The closure, driven by safety concerns from officials and environmental group, ended 59 years of operation. The site is currently undergoing decommissioning. But what did you put in its place? And someone says solar, like you have to put a program, you have to put things in place. So you have to decrease the dependency on that while increasing the dependency on something better. You understand? Like you just can't stop one thing. That is what we depended on because of the unintended consequences. Yeah, it may be good to close, but you have to gradually close it and gradually take the dependency off of that with something that's better for the environment. Like that's that whole just say no. And we always on this just say no thing without telling people what to say yes to. Oh, this is bad. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Same thing with elected officials. Right. Someone got to go. Someone got to go. They got to go. But y'all don't put nobody in there that's better. Like y'all don't come up with, so if you get rid of this person, who are you going to put in that place? You leave a vacuum for someone who's worse to come into the place. You understand what I'm saying? We have to start thinking. We can't just be reactive to everything. We have to be proactive. We have
I'm getting ready to play this mayor who's building a nuclear plant.
State has seen more wealth leave.
What? Come on, man. What is going on with
10
this?
years.
This is crazy.
Well, I just want to say, AJ, I believe you're completely right. That's one of our obstacles. We don't think far enough into the future, right? And our kids don't think far enough in the future because they just thinking about the next 24 hours. Like, we don't have the circumstances to support people that look like us striving for these positions to think 24 years from now, to think 20 years from now.
Right.
Yeah, things we do, and you want to know why the younger generation feels the way they did? Things we do affect them for generations, and they have to pick up the pieces and deal with the results of it. That's the real talk.
Let me know when y'all ready.
Ready.
Problem. No state has seen more wealth leave in 10 years.
I don't know what's going on with the video. Why I ain't got my video? What is the deal? Keep on talking. I apologize for technical issues that's going on here.
Let me know when you're ready.
Keep on
talking. I'm not ready. Y'all keep talking.
I don't know what the hell is going on with these videos. I don't know what the hell is going on, but we're gonna get it right sooner or later because I have a brain.
So Indian Point formerly provided 25% of electricity for New York City and Westchester County. Is closure leading to increased reliance on natural gas? You have to, like I said, you have to put something in its place. You want to lower the dependency on that, and then start building the dependency on something more healthy
All
for
right,
the
President
environment.
Trump announcing a
Here we
new
go.
investment aimed at producing more domestic energy, posting to Truth Social, quote, America's first refinery is opening, the first new U.S. oil refinery in 50 years in Brownsville, Texas. He calls it a historic $300 billion deal. It comes, of course, as the war with Iran overseas drives up gas prices here at home, while a new project in Wyoming promises to help bring down electricity prices. A renewed focus going nuclear, as the U.S. just greenlit a nuclear reactor in Wyoming. And get this, it's the first of its kind to get approval in nearly a decade. Now, at its peak, the plan is expected to power up to 400,000 homes, a project backed by Bill Gates, a company called TerraPower, and it will use next-generation technology, making it smaller and cheaper than older models. It's likely the first of many similar projects as the tech industry races to generate new power sources to try to fuel the AI boom. With us now, he is the mayor of Kemmerer, Wyoming, where that reactor is being built. Robert Bowen with us tonight. Robert, thanks so much for being with us. There's all this talk about energy and prices, especially with what's going on overseas right now. So I wanted to highlight tonight something good that's happening in American town, which is happening there in Wyoming. The first nuclear reactor to be greenlit in this country in roughly a decade. What does it mean?
Well, it means big things for us. We're expanding, our population base is increasing, our tax base is increasing. It's been nothing but positive so far for us. We got a lot of investment in our community, a lot of out-of-towners coming investing. It's been great.
What about the worries, right? Like anytime you talk about a nuclear reactor, you can sort of imagine, oh my gosh, do I want this? Do I not want it? Some of the critics, worry about safety flaws and instabilities. What would you say to those who are now going, wait a minute, maybe are hesitant about doing this again for the first time in a decade?
Well, one of the great things about TerraPower is how open and honest they've been with us and upfront on everything. They've been very, very sharing with everything outside of trade secrets, of course. But they've been very open with our community, and so they've put a lot of fears to rest that people have had. And the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is so involved, and we have a high level of trust for them. There's so much oversight on this, so much regulation that our locals really don't have much fear of this. You know, they're all very supportive. We've had almost no kickback from anybody locally about this project.
Interesting. So here's some of, when you look at electricity sources in the country, nuclear happens to be at about 18%, so it's a pretty healthy number, and that number will go higher. But here's something that caught my attention, Robert, which is when you look at nuclear reactors that are under construction, look at this. China right now, it's China and everyone else by a wide mile. And so when I see that China has 39 under construction and we're doing this for the first time in a decade, do you almost feel like you're on the front lines in the fight against China in a way?
We are on the front lines. We're going to be leading the charge on the new energy industry, and this new plant, new type, very advanced, and I think it's going to be the cutting edge technology for other plants. It's going to set a standard, and I'd love to see more plants going up around. And I know there's more plans for it, and I think we're on a good path.
So when you talk about more plans, here was President Trump earlier this year.
I've signed an order directing and approval of many new nuclear reactors. We're going heavy into nuclear. I was not a big fan because I didn't like the risk, the danger, but they have the progress they've made with nuclear is unbelievable.
What would the pitch be going forward as someone who's going to have this in their backyard? What's the elevator pitch here?
It brings in a lot of jobs. It's very safe. It's very clean. It's very efficient. Science fiction is now becoming science fact. Our technology is getting so advanced that we have no hesitations about this in our area.
Science fiction is becoming science fact. I might steal that from you. He's the mayor there in Kemmer, Wyoming.
I'm stealing it.
Big news, first in a decade in his backyard. Thank you for being with us tonight, sir.
So
Appreciate it.
my only concern is, and this goes with everything, so it might as well apply here. I didn't hear, like, again, what I just said. A lot of things we do for now have unintended consequences for the next generation. So, like, what is the possible negative consequences for the future? Like, it may be really, really good now, and everything sounds good, but are they exploring that? And maybe they are, but I didn't hear none of that in what we just read and saw. So, like,
well, I mean, yeah, for the future. But let me tell you, the future is AI. So these are going to go because you got to power them, and that's the war, that's the technology war, But in the process, I think technology is to the point that a lot of things from old nuclear plants are not or will not be the problem in new ones. Not saying they won't be any problems, but dude,
right? But what's the possible new problems?
But you heard him. He said we haven't got that much pushback. He didn't say he didn't get none.
No,
right.
Of course. Of course. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do before your electric bill becomes bigger than your mortgage? Dude,
No,
I was watching the video.
I'm not saying that's not the answer, but I'm saying, for the future, for the environment, what is the?
I get it, but you worried about that. You can't pay your electric bill today. Right now. A lot of what
you worried about the people before us were doing the things that were good for today, and we're
you know what? That's the unintended consequences. Because if you can't pay your light bill today, what are you worried about 20 years from now?
Well, when I was growing up, they were saying plastic bags was bad, and we had to do the paper bags, and now we going back because we were killing the trees. When I was growing up, it was a thing. We were going to plastic bags because it was a big Earth Day thing, and the paper bags was killing the trees, and we ain't gonna be able to breathe no more.
And now we don't give a damn about the trees no more, right? Yeah.
That makes my point. Like, a lot of times, if you go through the history, a lot of times what was supposedly good for that time ended up in the long term not being good.
Look, if I'm here, then I'm just being on the radio show,
and I'm just playing devil's advocate and being a journalist. Like, those are the questions that need to be asked. That I didn't hear none of that being discussed. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, nobody's going to care because I saw a guy that says his electric bill for his barbershop is $1,700. It went up from $800 to $1,700. Nobody's going to care about that shit, bro. Like, I'm just being straight up honest. If these
the electric bill here has gone up, and my portion that I have to pay has considerably gone up. So I understand. I totally understand.
Hey, look, I want to know how you gonna fix it.
I know I'm paying an extra $150 on mine.
Like, exactly. I want to know how you gonna fix it now.
We should do a call to action, right? So Westchester County, why don't you do a request for proposal for solutions on how to?
No. But see, in New York, here's the problem in New York. Is that the what they call them, the environmental lobby is heavy in New York, right? It's very heavy. The environmental lobby is very heavy in California. You know that fire in the Palisades started because the environmental lobby got them to stop sweeping the debris off the ground in the woods. They complained about it. So California stopped sweeping the debris. And that's how the fire started, from the debris. When they used to sweep the debris to keep, it gets hot. So ain't nothing on the ground to start no fire. And the environmental lobby pushed back on it.
right? Not even just to start it, but even if that's not the cause of the fire, that's the cause of the growth of the fire, that's spreading the fire really fast.
Yeah. Well, whether it's the cause or not, they do this policy, right? It's the environmental policy that has just as much as unintended consequences as a goddamn new 2026 E-style Microsoft nuclear plant. whatever whatever version that you get. You could get the 2,000, the 6,000, or whatever Microsoft is selling. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do, right? So you close it. You didn't have unintended consequences. I don't. It's not a lot of solar, right? Up here, we got land, and they put a lot of solar up here. But ain't nobody sent me no letter how to get some of that solar energy. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the whole, and then our HOA don't allow us to put solar on top of the roofs, which would be great if we were able to do that. So like, how are we gonna balance it out? How are we gonna balance it out? And the bill's just gonna go up. They're not gonna go down. So we got to do something, but nobody has an answer for it.
It's somebody that got an answer, and they need to be giving these solutions. Somebody got an answer. We got all this AI, nobody got an answer.
But you know what? Here's the problem. So here's the problem with most of these things. The people who have the answer allow things to happen so that you have to come to them, and they are like, it's like a fireman starting a fire to then, you know what I'm saying, then be the hero because you put it out. The same people, right. Some of the people who have the answers are part of the problem because they allow some of these things to happen so right. that they can make money being the solution to it, the problem.
Yeah, but Sheds is watching, but my point is we could blame, it's easy to blame Con Ed. But it's easy to blame Con Ed, but the plant was closed by New York policy. Con Ed just didn't come in and close the plant. That was New York State policy. So what is New York State?
The meetings Con Ed had were about the increases in the prices. I think that's a different thing. Nobody said Con Ed had nothing to do with Indian plant closing.
Oh. Well, I mean, Con Ed ain't got no answer because there's no policy. Even if you went and complained about your bill being high, it's still up to the state to say, just like that mayor, he made a deal with Microsoft. Microsoft came in and built one. What is the state going to do about it? Are they going to build another plant? Are they going to do windmills? What are they going to do? What are you going to do? The question is, what is our elected officials going to do about it? Because Con Ed Con Ed is just a middleman.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's still a business. And it's still a business.
She said, yeah, what I said that she said is right. Yeah. That's she wasn't talking about
No. What I'm saying is, me asking Con Ed about my bill means nothing when they have to pull electricity from out of the state.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's more because effort.
Because they have to spend more. They have to spend more to pull it out of the state. I want to know what my elected official is going to do about it. Because you're the ones that passed the policy to close the nuclear plant. Without an alternative on how we're going to get how that power is going to be replaced. That's my point.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. And this is just the latest situation. Like that's what this country does.
No, Con Ed did sell the plant, but I'm responding to Glenn Butler. Con Ed did sell the plant. There wasn't no need to keep the plant when the state said they had to close it. It still goes back to the state policy. That was a state policy to close the plant. Con Ed just ain't say, you know what, we just gonna close the plant.
Right, because they couldn't have closed it without state approval.
Exactly. You just
They
gonna close
couldn't
the clip.
He ended up paying $10K out of the pocket for a $20K system that got a $15K grant and made his money back in 6 or 7 years and installed it in 2015. His yearly bill was $497. What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Oh, solar. So solar. So here's the solar thing. So before Andre ran for city council, he was working with a solar company, and it was solar for all. And it had two phases. One, to work with homeowners to get them free solar in their house. But secondly, to train Mount Vernon residents, the youth, on how to install solar and be the people that operate, that worked on it so that they would have jobs in that. There was so much pushback. The solar companies had pulled out of cities like Mount Vernon for the building permits and all that other stuff. It just wasn't worth it. But there was a big push. Because I covered these stories, and I covered these. It was a couple of solar companies that wanted to come and give all Vernon homeowners solar for free, and then hire people like your son who was doing construction, train them to be the people to install it and do the work. So you got a skill. That's the way you're going now. Then you got people in your neighborhood that you're training for them to work at what the new thing is. And there was pushback, and also a lot of residents didn't take advantage of it. So that was one thing too. A lot of the residents didn't take advantage of it when it was being offered. Eventually, that solar company and another solar company pulled out, and several of the solar companies have
part of the problem was
they don't even want to deal with Mount Vernon.
Well, because part of the problem was the building department didn't give them the permits.
Well, I said that's because of the building permits and stuff like that. Some of the solar companies are not even dealing with Mount Vernon anymore.
Listen, Mount Vernon needs Jesus.
Well, I was just using an example and a stories that I actually covered. Yeah.
It needs Buddha. It needs the Sakalaka. It needs everything to get right.
Well, we said that before. The city of Mount Vernon needs a spiritual enema. Seriously.
It just needs an enema.
Spiritual enema to clean up this whole.
Where it's spiritual, where it's economical, where it's just common.
It needs economic. It needs that too. It needs.
It's full. It doesn't make sense.
One of the things that elected officials are not talking about, and one or two people said it, and they didn't get elected. The majority of the tax income comes from taxes from homeowners, because we don't attract businesses that want to come here that would be contributing greatly to the tax, where the taxes come from. Most of our budget comes from homeowners tax. So when you have to increase, when you need more, you have to raise the taxes on the homeowners. And then you eventually end up taxing our homeowners who can't pay their taxes. And then you have the number didn't come out yet, something like 1,100 homes about to go into foreclosures real soon. You know what I'm saying? And then, so how is that the answer? So you need to bring in a tax base built on businesses, bringing businesses to Mount Vernon. That would increase the tax base and less of the burden. Plus, Damon, what you said, something that the workers, the people who work for the city couldn't get their houses couldn't get the foreclosed list to buy houses. You would want your civil servants, your fire department, your police department, your DPW, the people who work in the city. You should do some kind of first-time homeowner buyership or something, some program to help them become homeowners. Now you got more homeowners. You understand what I'm saying? You got less houses in foreclosure. You got more homeowners. And again,
Right.
Damon said this as a joke before. When we first started Black Westchester, the first thing I heard, Mount Vernon is the city of homes. That used to be the catch line, the city of homes. Now it's the city of renters. You know what I'm saying? Homeowners are leaving, and we keep putting up these buildings and stuff. It's a city of renters now. So
Right.
a lot of this stuff comes from not having a master plan. So they call it a comprehensive plan now. So Dwayne Brown, when he was head of the Mount Vernon, the Dwayne Brown's the one that's taking pictures, the camera next to me, Lanez. He was the head of the Mount Vernon Chamber of Commerce. So he comes to me one day. He said, "Bring Suze back." That's funny. So he comes to me one day and says, "This is the last master plan for Mount Vernon." It was 1968. I was 2. This thing was so, he wanted to give it to me so I could do a story. The thing was so old, as he was holding it, the back page, the back cover fell off. I was like, yo, no, I'm not putting this in my hands. Make a copy and give it to me. I don't want to have the only copy of this thing. But when you go through it, what it said in 68, a lot of the things it warned not to do, we did. And it worked, and it talked about the consequences of what we're dealing with now. It was in the 68 master plan. Then the next person who tried to really do a master plan was Clinton, but then he lost the election. So then that didn't go through. Now, Sean Patterson Howard was trying to put together a comprehensive plan or something. A city needs a plan. One of the things that was successful in Harlem, the building of 125th Street and the takeover of Harlem, I knew things were changing when the Magic Johnson Theater came. The Magic Johnson Theater came, Starbucks came, and there was one more thing. Now you got anchors, and now you build everything in between. There was a plan. There was a master plan for that area, for the development of that area. New Rochelle has the downtown business, the downtown BID, Business Improvement District. Yonkers has a Business Improvement District. I don't know if we have one in Mount Vernon, but I don't know if we do. What the hell they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like these other cities that around us that are thriving, Yonkers has this. New Rochelle has this. You see how New Rochelle has grown. You see how Yonkers has grown. You know what I'm saying? Business-wise, hell, Yonkers got it. Yonkers now got Lion Gate thing, and Lion Gate is doing so much work and brought so much business and money to Yonkers. And they're buying more buildings. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't deal with that. Mount Vernon, you have more creative people that are involved in, that are into that stuff, entertainment and movie making and all that. I used to talk to George Brown when he was the clerk. He used to brag that more things would be getting built and more movies and TV shows were being filmed in Mount Vernon. And the city was making money off of that. What I said, why don't you work on something with those people, work with the schools? We have a lot of thriving people that want to make movies and stuff. I had every big star and big director here. As part of their building, being able to film this thing, they had to spend a day for a little workshop with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Let the kids shadow the producer and shadow them and get real life experience to this stuff. Why are we not thinking? That's investing in your future. So now you got future actors, directors, the people behind the scenes, the grips and all of them, they make good money. They're here in Mount Vernon. We're building stuff, we're filming stuff in Mount Vernon. You got Mount Vernon residents making this money. You understand what I'm saying? The future of Mount Vernon residents. And then you end up with stuff like Lion Gates getting property and coming to Mount Vernon instead of Yonkers. You understand what I'm saying? Like we don't think ahead. You know what I'm saying? George negotiated weak contracts, movie paid less than $5K per day. And they also didn't pay all the businesses, because I know several businesses, when they blocked off your street, the businesses were supposed to, and you lose business for that day, the businesses were supposed to get paid for the loss for not doing business that day. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't trickle down to several businesses when they had these things. So yeah, we were just trying to get the fast money, but we weren't looking at the long term and reinvesting in our youth. We do not reinvest in our youth. That's why when they get of age, they get the hell out of here as quick as possible and go somewhere and make money. And now you have the older people here, the young people are thriving somewhere else, and they don't come back to Mount Vernon. Your future Mount Vernon is what we see now. You're not investing in your city, into your youth. So I know it's 8:08. I'm not going to continue this. Yeah, it's 8:08. I'm not going to continue this.
That's all I got to say is good luck, Mount Vernon.
Even Greenberg has a thriving shopping center, Kenyatta Adams said. We have to do better. And when these politicians are running for office, these are the questions we need to ask them. What is their plan? You know what I'm saying? What is your plan to deal with this? What is your plan to deal with that? And we don't deal with this enough. And then we allow candidates that are real good speakers and basically say real nice stuff and, can pause for the applause and, you know what I'm saying? And say all the good things, the clickbait things and stuff. And we received that, and we really didn't get answers to any of our questions. We didn't get solutions to any of our problems. And we vote for these people because they speak well. Richard Thomas was a very good speaker. Richard Thomas could speak well. Young, pretty boy looking dude, light skin. People ate that stuff up. But we see what his mayorship did to the city of Mount Vernon. There was no plan for the city.
It was a plan. What are you talking about? It was a plan.
Spezio had a plan to rob.
It was a plan to rob the city. That's the plan.
But that wasn't Rich's plan. That was Spezio's plan.
That was Rich's plan too.
He bought and paid for Richard Thomas, and he ran amok, and he ran the city behind the scenes and told Richard Thomas what to do. And Richard Thomas didn't end up any wealthier and didn't any more control and didn't benefit at all. Spezio did. So he just got used. He allowed himself to get bought and sold. And, the city is paying for it to this day. So anyway, the last words, it's 8:10.
Hey, we out of here. Check me out tomorrow. I got Isaiah Carter on the publisher's desk.
Who is he?
He
Tell
has.
us who he is.
I was getting ready to tell you.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I was getting ready to say who he was. He's a podcaster. What's the name of his show? He has he's from New Rochelle. And he lives in New Rochelle. He's from New Rochelle. He has a podcast called Apostate Radio. You can check him out. YouTube Apostate Radio, and he's also featured in Medium, Suspect, and Salon, Substack and Salon. And
Isaiah Carter. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this. I know who you're talking about.
I know now too. Yeah.
It's New York politics working for Black people. Listen, we talk for about 2 hours. I can only put an hour up because to go live through whatchamacallit, it only allows you an hour and a half or something like that, right? But
we just got to put up part 1, part 2.
Yeah. So I think I got like an hour and 30 minutes or something. So check us out tomorrow. Check us out tomorrow. It's going to be 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tomorrow. 8 o'clock consistently, and then next Monday is the superintendent of Yonkers. We'll be on because we're talking about the plight of education in Black and brown people. So
I definitely want to see that because he need to be on. He need to be on this show too.
Yeah, we get him back.
And we need to get the Mount Vernon superintendent. I want to hear what his plans are. This new superintendent he got.
Yeah,
they don't have the state of the schools union. They don't do that out here.
Where? I've never heard of that.
They do one in New York City. I did a few articles on them.
The problem with Yonkers school district is under Yonkers city government. So Spano gives you the State of the Union. That is the State of the Union for the whole city.
Oh, okay. So he said one time One. I'm gonna
Is
cover
that-
everything.
Exactly.
So
I'm gonna
the
wrap up
superintendent works at the pleasure of the mayor. So where
Exactly.
Mount Vernon, the school district, Mount Vernon and other cities is separate from the government. It's not under the city government. It's an actual separate entity.
Okay.
The trustees are elected, and then they appoint the superintendent.
Well, check us out. We're about to get out of here.
The big
Anybody
five
got
schools,
any-
the big five school districts in New York are under city control. Yonkers is the third largest city, so it's in the big five. Yes.
So I just want to say, outside of debates, outside of everything, we just need to start asking the real questions, which is who is carrying the weight of these decisions that are being made at the top land.
Absolutely.
And that's why some of them stopped coming on this show. Because we were asking those questions. But we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna push. We're gonna push back again.
We out of here. Everybody, peace. Have a blacktastic night. See y'all tomorrow. And the Sunday Rundown, People Before Politics show. See y'all next Sunday. We out here. Peace out.
Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Black America got a sweet tooth? Come to Cupcake Cutie Boutique in Mount Vernon, where every day is a reason to celebrate. Fresh homemade cupcakes baked with love. Stop by 8 South 6th Avenue and taste the cuteness today. Thank you for watching another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show. Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. We appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, commented, shared the stream, and joined the conversation. Your support is the reason independent Black media continues to thrive and speak truth without fear. Every week, we show up to bring clarity, accountability, and real community insight to the stories that matter. And you show up with us. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, we want you to know that your voice, your engagement, and your presence make this platform stronger. Thank you for rocking with Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as we break down the issues that many outlets ignore. And thank you for supporting a space where Black thought, Black leadership, and Black truth-telling still matter.